we're back.
Sorry, guys.
If anybody's there.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. It just clicked off.
It shows nobody there.
It's all right. Keep going. This is
well,
important.
There's no reason to keep going if nobody's going to be viewing it.
Somebody's there. 2.
Then we find out that the Hebrew word for ZBL means defecator.
You might want to start that paragraph again, dear. Wherever you started.
Beelzebub. In Hebrew, it would be spelled Baalzibbul. Beelzebub. Now, the translations are at the very least interesting. In the English, Beelzebub, as they call it, becomes a derogatory name for the adversary. She just read 2 Kings, and that means the Philistine god in 2 Kings. You might say, in Hebrew it means the Lord of the Fly. Then we find out that the Hebrew root for ZBL means dung. Therefore, the whole word Beelzebul, it actually means defecator. Defecator.
Not a good word.
So with that information, to say Yeshua has Beelzebul in him makes Mark 3:22.
Mark 3:22. The Torah teachers who came down from Jerusalem said, "He has Beelzebub in him, and it is by the ruler of the demons that he expels the demons."
Now, can you see how that would be such an insult to the Messiah?
Big time.
Matthew 10:28.
Sorry, I gotta find it. Sure I'm on the right? Okay, I am. Do not fear those who kill the body, but are powerless to kill the soul. Rather, fear him who can destroy both body and soul. And you said that was in hell?
Gehinnom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That shows the amount and type of insults that may have been going your way. That's your way. Netanyahu, or Matthew 10:34-36.
Don't suppose that I have come to bring peace to the land. It is not peace I have come to bring, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, so that a man's enemies will be the members of his own household.
Would you read the first part of 34 again?
Sure. Don't suppose that I have come to bring peace to the land.
Now, why would Yeshua make a statement? Don't suppose that I have come. Don't suppose that I have come to bring peace to the land. Then he adds, "It is not peace I bring, but a sword." Some argue that Yeshua brought strife. We look at that part as saying Yeshua back then and now wasn't and isn't for worldly peace. Not when he came, but to put an end to worldly strife in the family and the world. By cutting into whatever the strife may be, like a knife that goes through butter, the sword goes through the strife, separating the true from the false, the followers of the world from the Christ, the believers from the pretenders.
Powerful sword.
The true followers of Yeshua from all those made-up names for their Messiah. the dung, Beelzebul, the defecator, from the pure Son of God. Yeshua brought the sword to separate the impure from the pure of heart in him, and with only him you will be on that tiny road to Yeshua, not the dung path to the adversary. Most of the people who are listening at this have their hearts and minds already made up. They know that their preacher and their teacher have it all right. And that we are trying to convince the world about Yeshua. You might say yes. But no. No, we're trying to change our world to Yeshua. Now, our world may be very small, not like the world, or the huge number of religions and even the so-called Christian faith. Why, just those have billions and billions. If we look, or if you look at the world population, almost 8 billion people now. That's really huge, isn't it? The truth is we have found only a handful of believers in Yeshua. People may know of his name, even use it with an explanation of, it's okay to use the made-up name because they mean and are the same person. Now that is ZBL, dung. Our question is for you and anyone, who do you say he was? Was he one of the Greek gods? One of the many ones ahead of the past? Or the name Isus? He wasn't Greek and never had a Greek name. How about when a Roman Catholic priest by the name of Jerome added a J to the Greek name, and possibly for years it was known as Jesus. Until some 389 years ago, we haven't figured out who Jerome's bosses were, so we have no name for the they of his superiors, or who they actually were, so we have to go with the statement as Jerome's. We very seldom, we very seldom hear of the Roman Catholics anymore.
Yeah, it's a Catholic
It's
church.
just the Catholic Church. Listen to this. This could make a lot of people angry at us. They are responsible for the Jesus of the world brainwashing from the year of 1632 until now. 389 years of it. The name billions and billions follow instead of even wanting the truth. They, and most likely, most of you, would rather have the worldly brainwashing by a Catholic priest, Jerome. Now that is scary. Even scary to the point of ZBL for and to the people. We are not against the Catholics,
No.
Baptists, or any denomination of the so-called Christian faith. Yes, we did say again the so-called, because if any one religion uses any made-up name, then how are they in the Christ-like of what the name Christian is supposed to stand for? Growing up, we heard being a Christian is exactly that, being Christ-like. Well, when does a Christian in you, when will it really start? You wouldn't follow a Fred or a Martin. No, we just made up a fake name for a fake Messiah. So if you follow a Fred, would you be any different with that false name than the one Jerome made up 389 years ago? Would you say to worship Fred would be ZBL any more than the ZBL of Jerome? It's kind of a harsh statement. If it's ZBL, it's ZBL. And if you just tuned in, that's dung. And if it's ZBL, ZBL in any form with any brainwashing in any religion, church, or denomination of today. Or yesterday. Even 389 years ago. We have known of people who have passed away, who we know have read our book. One special person stated that she loved our book, believed the message, and was eagerly awaiting for the next one, even if she never, not one time, told her children or her son-in-law that she understood about Yeshua. Well, with the talks and the beliefs she showed us when we talked to her, she understood the importance of Yeshua in her life. And when Yeshua returns, may Adonai be always strong and like her, Yeshua be your truth. So when Yeshua does return, she will be on that tiny road to Yeshua as one of the true believers. Now, where is your belief? Is it in the ZBL dung pile or in the truth of the Messiah? Only you can answer that, not your pastor, priest, or rabbi. No, that's you and yours, not theirs or ours. No, it's you only, not your children or your grandchildren, your parents or in-laws. It's a path you and yours are on. And where your road leads, it could be that religious brainwashing of your denomination where billions will be walking, or the few, the proud, the true believers in Yeshua, the Son. The ZBL pile is getting larger every day. The smell is getting stronger, higher and more spread out to infiltrate the worldly beliefs of today, yesterday, and forever. See, when you spread the ZBL like a farmer used to do in the fields, it makes the crops grow stronger. The same goes for the religious brainwashing whenever the ZBL is added. The worldly belief gets stronger, and the power becomes more believable because of the laziness of the people on the ZBL path. In the end, the smell will be overwhelming. The walk so useless, the final climb will be over your personal pile of ZBL. So for most of the world, you better have on some high boots. Don't go barefoot or in sandals. Your personal pile just may be huge and crowded. Our ending is, who do you say he was? Yeshua asked his Talmudim, his disciples, his closest friends, who do you say I am? Who do you say I am? I don't want to put that extra word in there. Who do you say I am? What about you? Is he your Messiah? Or are you still piling on the ZBL of your religion? We heard this statement this past week. When you live in the dark, the only light there is truth. When you live in the dark, The only light there is truth. That states so much more than what we have ever heard preachers or teachers tell their people. Look at it this way. If you can see and you have never found truth, you are more in the dark than any blind person who has ever found truth. Think about that one. In people, there are many truths. What you think is true, what they think is true, what they brainwash you with think is true, it becomes your truth. That's why we said, in belief, there are many truths. See, in religion, you have your belief. Thousands of truths of their beliefs. You can believe in a tree, animal, yourself, or put your belief in that person who stands in front of you during your service. So where is your faith? In him or her? In what he or she preaches? In their church? His denomination? How about his or her religion? It doesn't necessarily have to be truth, does it? The reason we say that, we've said that a number of times in the past, it doesn't necessarily have to be true. It's just that you like what's being said. So it becomes your truth. That's why that one statement, in belief there are many truths. Because all you have to do is like it. If it tickles your fancy, or it says you can do whatever you want, or what you've been doing, then it can become your truth. It doesn't necessarily have to be the truth, does it? No, the ZBL dung pile to religion has grown to an enormous mound of exactly what? Exactly what you're satisfied with, hasn't it?
Hey, Rich and Sandy.
So what are your blind spots? Your sight or lack of it? Your desire or your compromise? Your road or is it your detour? We don't care what road or detour you take. Hey, that's your business, right or wrong. But according to Matthew 7, 13 and 14,
go in through the narrow gate, for the gate that leads to destruction is wide and the road broad, and many travel it. But it is the narrow gate and the hard road that leads to life, and only a few find it.
We state that a lot, many times. Matter of fact, I'm going to start reading it from the little bit above that and just skip over because my sweetie already read that. We don't care what road or detour you take. Hey, that's your business, right or wrong. But according to Matthew 7, 13 and 14, many travel the broad road with that wide gate. And only a few, that's what the scripture says, only a few find the narrow gate that leads to life. The only light, whether you're on the ZBL pile or on either road, is what? The light is truth. Remember, when you live in the dark, the only light there is truth. Everything else is added to your pile of ZBL.
That's heavy, dear.
That's it.
Real intense this week.
Well,
Real intense this week.
there's so many things that now why I come up with ZBL, I have no idea. Just like why I came up with this reading in the beginning, I have no idea. But the interesting thing is we're not here for God. We're here not for you. We're here for truth. Now, if that leads you to God, which we're hoping it does, then you're going to the right path. Don't follow us anywhere. I'm not good enough to lead one person through the door. We have our instructions. And I think the reading I read in the first part, message from Adonai Elohim, the Lord God, tells us what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We're not prophets. Like this, we're humans. We're not prophets. We're not even good enough to talk about that way. But you got to make your own path. You got to go down your own path. We can't lead you. We can't direct you. We can just talk about truth. You have to study and find your own truth. Now, just make sure your own truth isn't worldly truth, because that won't get you anywhere but the ZBL pile or on that large road, which billions of people are happy with. And I know that doesn't sound right, with a person trying to tell you to study more, but if that's the road you take, I don't care. That's your business. We can't do anything for you. All we can do is try to get you to study for truth. I've never heard preachers, I've heard them babble on about that, but then in the end they want you to believe like them. In the end they want, here's what it really means. Well, I don't care if you believe me or not. That's still, again, your responsibility. We don't have that responsibility. It's not our calling to get you to God. It's our calling to bring out this for you to study to find Him yourself. We can't put a hook through your nose and drag you over the finish line. It's your job. Don't be stuck in the ZBL pile. There's way too many people already there. God bless, and hope you have the rest of the really good week. I think next week we got Matthew. Wait a minute, I'll be right back. Talk.
I like the way he runs off and leaves me. Sorry about the blip earlier, but I thank you guys for coming back and being part of us. That means more than you know, that you guys are there on Tuesday nights. If you can't be, that you watch it later. Please comment, please like it and share it with all your friends and family. This is important stuff. So, anyway, I think he's on his way back. Yep, here he comes. He's back. And next week's topic is
Netanyahu or Matthew 6.
That's all you're going to tell
I think it's 1 through 13. My sweetie's going to look it up.
That's the end of it, 13.
If you haven't figured that part out, it's the Lord's Prayer. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that one. Has ever been to church?
They'll be surprised.
Maybe. Love you.
Have a good weekend. Have a good week, guys. And we will see you next Tuesday.
God bless.
7 o'clock.